Hello, Marky Dragon, and we're going to take a trip back in time. I know I do that occasionally, but this guy, Oddpulley, he messaged me, and he has a great thing here. He says he remembers my site back from the day of UO. He's an old school vet from the Baja Shard, and he says he played a Dread back in the days. The Dreads were awesome. Oh, man, I just loved Dreads, you know, and PK versus anti-PK. That was the Wild West. It was a lot of fun. He says that he was in the Joy of Villainy Guild, which was an awesome guild. They played on the Baja Shard, which is where I played. In fact, I'm sure that we ran into each other in game. I'm positive of that. And he says that he played under several names like Galahad, Mook Mook, and I Own All. I Own All, okay. Those were his Permared PKs, and he wasn't nearly as popular as Ronald McDonald and friends. Let's see, so he has a question about gold farming, and I preferred the merchant style. And he was wondering if I remember a player named Dernick. I sure do. And he was pretty much the most popular blacksmith and was insanely rich with all kinds of real estate. He was always my favorite victim to PK because the bastard would go mining wearing a full suit of GM Valorite plate armor. In fact, he ended up hunting him so much that they eventually became friends. After a while, he ended up giving me his small house right outside right next to the Britannian graveyard, which back then was kind of a PvP PK hotspot. I had a small house down there. I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's see, will never be another MMO like this that focuses on this. Yes, you are right. We're not going to see another one like that. That was like, that's just not going to happen again. It'll just never happen again that way. That's very unfortunate, but it won't. Now, let me tell you about Dernick. Dernick and I became really good friends. And Dernick, he didn't really usually wear a full set of Valorite armor. He only wore the pants. He always ran around showing off his chest. And he was a pretty amazing guy. He played the game a lot, and in fact, he made his living off of the game back when I was doing brokering. So it would go something like this, which I don't mind telling everybody now, and I'm sure he won't mind because this is not something that can be done today. But back in the day, Dernick he was a grandmaster at placing houses. He was so amazing. He knew the landscape and how everything needed to be put together in order to actually place a large house down. And he would do things like we would wait for a tower to fall, to decay and fall. And when it did, we would go picking up all the items, and he would just let us have all the items. And he would show us his magic whenever we were out there, because what he would do is he would take some books with him, and he would place these books at key locations around the area, and we wouldn't pick up the books, we would just leave those. But we would clear everything else out of the way. And that guy, he would place like a castle or a keep in the place where a tower was. It was truly amazing to watch him. And what he figured out was that the landscape was different. And so you had to have multiple contact points, touch points, on your foundation whenever you placed a building. And so he figured out what those contact points were. And then he knew, just by walking the area, where to place everything. It was pretty amazing to watch him do it. Now, what's even more amazing than him just placing houses was how much money he made by selling those houses on eBay. It was really astounding. He would have all of these auctions up, and I know that he made a good deal of cash by placing all of these houses on all different shards, and then he would put them all up on eBay. And it was really great. I would see all of these sales that he was doing, and I would have actually invited him into our broker group, except that's not really what he was wanting to do. And so here's something else he did. When he had an eBay auction that was up once or twice and nobody bought the house, instead of lowering the price, he would come to me and sell it for gold. Well, then I would turn around and I would sell it for cheaper. And I would combine it with one of my accounts that I was selling, or I would just sell it through one of my sites. And then he got a supply of gold, which helped him buy the deeds, which then he could place more houses. And I don't know that we're ever going to see a game like that again. That was so free-form. There were so many things that happened in that game that were never intended, that were so beautiful, just so great. And it really was a lot of fun working with Dernick. I got to be friends with him and his wife, and in fact, we invited them up to come spend some time with us in Portland when I lived up there, and had a really good time. Saw them in Vegas once or twice because that's where they lived at the time. And to this day, I'm still friends with them. And I guess that's testament to what kind of friendships you can build out of these video games. It doesn't have to be virtual, and you only see them when it's in the game. The friendships extend outside of the games, which many of you, I'm sure, know very well. So anyway, Oddpulley, thank you for the flashback, the memory of that. I had forgotten all about that, and what a great time that was. And he must have sold me at least a couple hundred houses, and God knows how many he sold on eBay. I think he made a small fortune doing it. I'm Marky Dragon. Take care.